Shalom. This is the book of Genesis chapter 7. Verse 1 reads, And the Lord said unto Noah, Come thou and all thy house into the ark. For thee have I seen righteous before me in this generation. So this is saying that the Most High asked Noah to come into the boat that he had prepared, for the Most High deemed him righteous, meaning a commandment keeper according to Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 25, which reads, And it shall be our righteousness, if we observe to do all these commandments before the Lord our God, as he hath commanded us. To be righteous is also when you believe in the Most High and act accordingly. In Genesis chapter 15 and verse 6 it reads, And he believed in the Lord, and he counted it to him for righteousness. So Noah was seen as a believer, that kept the commandments of the Most High in his years. Genesis chapter 7 and verse 2 reads, Of every clean beast thou shalt take to thee by sevens, the male and his female, and of beasts that are not clean by two, the male and his female. So here we see the Most High instructed Noah that he should take of every clean animal 7 pairs male and female, and 7 by 2 is equal to 14 clean animals, and of the unclean or abominable animals he should take in pairs of 2 male and female, and 2 by 2 is equal to 4 unclean animals. Precept Jasher chapter 6 and verse 9 reads, 2 and 2 came to Noah into the ark, but from the clean animals and clean fowls he brought 7 couples, as God had commanded him. Genesis chapter 7 and verse 3 reads, Of fowls also of the air by sevens, the male and the female, to keep seed alive upon the face of all the earth. So here we see Noah also brought in 7 couples of birds male and female to keep offspring alive on the earth. Genesis chapter 7 and verse 4 reads, For yet 7 days, and I will cause it to rain upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. And every living substance that I have made will I destroy from off the face of the earth. So here we see that the Most High tells Noah that in a week he will bring the rain, and that it will rain for roughly a month and 10 days, which will result in the death of all flesh outside the ark. Genesis chapter 7 and verse 5 reads, And Noah did according unto all that the Lord commanded him. So it says that Noah listened and did all that the Most High commanded. Genesis chapter 7 and verse 6, which says, And Noah was 600 years old when the flood of waters was upon the earth. So this is saying when the rain came, Noah was 600 years old. Genesis chapter 7 and verse 7 reads, And Noah went in, and his sons, and his wife, and his sons' wives with him, into the ark, because of the waters of the flood. So we see here that Noah had 1 wife, and so did his sons. No one had multiple wives. Even the animals were coupled, for the order of the Most High is 1 woman to 1 man in marriage, just as it was from the beginning. So they went into the ark. Genesis chapter 7 and verse 8 reads, Of clean beasts, and of beasts that are not clean, and of fowls, and of everything that creepeth upon the earth. So this is talking about the animals, birds, and things that go on the belly and on all 4s, clean and unclean, that are on the earth. Genesis chapter 7 and verse 9 reads, There went in 2 and 2 unto Noah into the ark, the male and the female, as God had commanded Noah. So here we see the animals went into the boat, coupled male and female, just as the Most High said. Genesis chapter 7 and verse 10 reads, And it came to pass after 7 days, that the waters of the flood were upon the earth. So here it says that after a week, the rain came upon the earth. Genesis chapter 7 and verse 11 reads, In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the 2nd month, the 17th day of the month, the same day were all the fountains of the great deep broken up, and the windows of heaven were opened. So this is saying that Noah was 600 years old, and in the 2nd month, meaning April the 17th day, it began to rain upon all the earth. Precept Jubilees chapter 5 and verses 23 and 24, which reads, And he entered in the 6th year thereof, 13:08 a.m. in the 2nd month, on the new moon of the 2nd month, till the 16th. And he entered, and all that we brought to him, into the ark, and the Lord closed it from without on the 17th evening. 24. And the Lord opened 7 floodgates of heaven, and the mouths of the fountains of the great deep, 7 mouths in number. Genesis chapter 7 and verse 12 reads, And the rain was upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights. You can also find this in Jubilees chapter 5 and verse 25. Genesis chapter 7 and verse 13 reads, In the selfsame day entered Noah, and Shem, and Ham, and Japheth, the sons of Noah, and Noah's wife, and the 3 wives of his sons with them, into the ark. Genesis chapter 7 and verses 14 to 16 reads, They, and every beast after his kind, and all the cattle after their kind, and every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth after his kind, and every fowl after his kind, every bird of every sort. And they went in unto Noah into the ark, two and two of all flesh, wherein is the breath of life. And they that went in male and female of all flesh, as God had commanded him, and the Lord shut him in. So here we see that they all went into the boat that Noah prepared, and the Most High closed the door. Genesis chapter 7 and verse 17 reads, And the flood was 40 days upon the earth. And the waters increased, and bare up the ark, and it was lifted up above the earth. So this is saying that it rained on the earth for roughly 1 month and 10 days, and the waters lifted up the boat upon the waters. Genesis chapter 7 and verse 18 reads, And the waters prevailed, and were increased greatly upon the earth. And the ark went upon the face of the waters. Genesis chapter 7 and verses 19 to 20 reads, And the waters prevailed exceedingly upon the earth. And all the high hills, that were under the whole heaven, were covered. 15 cubits upward did the waters prevail. And the mountains were covered. So here we see that the high hills were called mountains, which were covered by the rainwater that increased 15 cubits high, which is the estimation of the height of a mountain. Genesis chapter 7 and verse 21 to 22 reads, And all flesh died that moved upon the earth, both of fowl, and of cattle, and of beast, and of every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth, and every man, all in whose nostrils was the breath of life, of all that was in the dry land, died. So here we see that all living things that were outside of the boat died. Genesis chapter 7 and verse 23 to 24 reads, And every living substance was destroyed which was upon the face of the ground, both man, and cattle, and the creeping things, and the fowl of the heaven. And they were destroyed from the earth, and Noah only remained alive, and they that were with him in the ark. And the waters prevailed upon the earth 150 days. So here we see that all died, which is a precept to the previous verses, and the waters remained on the earth up to 150 days.